Okay, that intro was very cringy, but hey, it's the one true Sir Salty, and I'm here to bring you what I think would be Finii's Awakening Tier List. Full disclosure, I've only got to try her a few times in the last few days since her release, because it is next to impossible to try to lock in that character before anyone else does, unless I'm first, which I happen to not be several times. I did get to play her a bit though, and these are what I think would be her best awakenings. So since it's a character I didn't really get to experience as much as I would like before making one of these, I will try to be as brief as possible while still being pretty detailed about my choices. So I will get right into it. First off, with the rotated awakenings out, yes, we can't get any of these. Adrenaline Rush, Perfect Form, 1-2 Punch, none of them. They're gone, so don't have to really worry about that too much. But rest in peace. Next, I kind of lumped in all the sparks, all the orbs, and all the energy into one category. A lot of these will be situational based on what's going on, if it might be your first pick in the draft or just your first pick for the match entirely. It's kind of up in the air. I definitely could see, cooldown reduction, some speed being helpful with the spark side of things. Some energy could be good, such as Fire Up, where you're playing more of a support. And obviously the orbs can be pretty good in a decent support build as well, but you gotta be focusing on them, and as well as the map's gotta be pretty generous with them, such as playing on A10 City. But I digress. They will come down to your personal play style. Have at it as you will. Moving on, I would also like to talk about gear before I get into anything else. I feel like she does need some movement speed, so she does lack a mobility tool. So magnetic souls or slick kicks would probably be your preferred method of gear. Or if you want to be a little more supportive, because I find her general character would excel with being with the brawler. So maybe adding a little bit more damage with a siphoning wand, since she does have 3 abilities that can hurt players. So that might be a good tool as well. That being said, let's just get right into it. So the general basis of what I'm going with this build that I found awakenings that really did help her excel are all based around projectiles and creations, as well as a debuff duration increase. So the D tier consists of none of that, so that's why they're there. Tempo swing can give her a little bit of sustain, but it's just not really enough damage to really make a difference. Bulk up could be all right, but you're not really there to be doing the damage. And also that's why I put Super Surge down here. Like, as much as it would be nice to give her a boost to her secondary, I feel like it doesn't cut it, and it also doesn't add too much damage since her secondary is only a light hit after all. Just generally not overly as impactful awakenings, but still can be useful, and depends where you are in the draft. Let's move on to C tier. We have just generally good overall awakenings that don't really rely on too much. Stacks on stacks, big fish, peak performance, they're all just good size increase, good speed increase. Hotshot as well is okay. Glass cannon I'd say is all right, but since she does lack mobility, it might be hard, and you might get punished by other brawlers in the match. So it could be not as useful, as well as heavy impact. Heavy impact is, again, increases your damage, but you're not really trying to go for it, as well as you're not going to get the multi-hits to get the cooldown reduction from it. So again, not great choices. So yep, this C tier is just generally useful stuff, just not as good as it could be. Alright, moving on to B tier. B tier, we got Chrono Boost and Aerial. Both are good for increasing her secondary's range, as well as her projectile range, which is fantastic. Chrono Boost, I feel like it was one of the better ones here because it extends her debuff duration, which is one of the stronger ones that I'm kind of focusing on with this build, to increase that damage taken debuff and allowing a brawler to just kind of fill them in as much as he can in that time frame. Built different is always fantastic for just increasing your size and damage, so it'll add a little bit. Hopefully you're a brawler, if you're pairing with that, will get it, but it's up there. I'd say it's just good overall. Quick Strike, again, is just a really good one that I prefer on a lot of characters. I love having that extra energy, as well as winning those strike wars a little bit better. And reverberation. She does have tier 2 stats, so she does still get a decent amount of cooldown from that, as well as if you pair it with other things such as big fish and other things. Well, I guess that's pretty much it for increasing stagger, but regardless, they're going to be good overall, and they help you out with doing what you need to, which is debuffing and trying to make those nice trick shots and giving you a lot more range to work with. Alright, now we move on to A tier. This is where I kind of lumped in a lot of different ones, but it's all depending on how you want to play her sort of deal, more of a player preference at this time. I found it's either you kind of go one way or the other, where you kind of get more trick shotty with her primary, able to, you know, with Deadeye and missile propulsion. Again, gives her a lot more range to work with and a lot more damage with those hits, as well as, like, you know, the core will be moving pretty fast after you hit it. Again, it's up to you. You know, you gotta practice using the longer range with it, but otherwise, fantastic choices. Same with the creations. If you want your special to be hitting harder and lasting longer, stuff like that, it would be a little more tricky with its cast. Then yeah, Monumentalist and Cast the Last might be up there. So with Rapid Fire and Prime Time, this just makes use of her primary and making it a shorter cooldown. So it is already an 8-second cooldown. So making it even shorter, like 6, 5.5, be fantastic. And having multiple charges, sure. If you're really good at using the trick shot, just more cooldown might be the way to go for you. These next two were the ones that I wasn't as sure about, Specialized Training and Extra Special. I didn't know if she really needed the extra damage on her special, or perhaps using it more, because sometimes it can be a little tricky to actually get the shot that you want with it. So it could go either way with it, and it was really hard to kind of find that right placement for them. But I still feel like you can't go wrong with either of them. Since more damage is always great, you're going to trap somebody in there unless they can just blink out. It'll be a lot of damage, and it'll send the core flying. And same with Extra Special, just having your special every time, or as often as you can. I think it's a great tool for her, and definitely one of my preferred A tiers. In fact, I could put it in S tier. Like, none of these are in any order of, these are all relevant choices for her to go to. In fact, Twin Drive might be one of the better ones for sure, since my whole idea was to play her with a brawler as like more of like a support / ranged option. So having another secondary would be very beneficial, able to dish out all kinds of damage. So like debuff them, brawler fills them in, debuff them again, finish them, done, send them home. So that's generally my thoughts on the A tier. Like, again, it's personal preference. I could pick any three of these and make it all different, like Deadeye, Prime Time, and Twin Drive. Fantastic. Oh yeah, all these cooldowns, you're having fun. Like, a mix of them would be fantastic. I wouldn't complain, and we'd be good. So I think all the choices belong in A, maybe some in S. I'm not entirely sure. And for the S tier, I figured Cast the Last, since it does increase her creation duration, so it might make her special last longer. Well, it should. And it will specifically increase her debuff duration by 75%, which will make her debuff go to around 7 seconds long, give or take. Plenty of time for X's full special to just beat the crap out of them and just have a fantastic time with a debuffed opponent taking 30% more damage. So it's up to you, really. I know I don't have too much experience with her, but I feel like these will be the best and help you excel the most. So I appreciate you taking your time watching this. Like and subscribe if you learned something, and, you know, honestly, just tell me what I've done wrong. You know, I'm always open for criticism here. So drop a comment down below on what you think, and have a great day, guys. Take care.